Hello?
Alrighty. Hello, hello,
Hi.
hello, hi. Welcome everybody to this live stream with all the D23 updates for Avatar that honestly probably a lot of us didn't expect we would have this many, but hey, now we have a lot of stuff to talk about, so that's good. But I'm not alone. With me, I have from Instagram, Avatar Latino. How are you
Hel-
doing?
Hi. I'm super, super excited. What an amazing day we've had, full of amazing news. Hello? Are you there?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Oh,
sorry about
okay.
that.
I was like, can anybody hear me?
Oh no, I thought you were still going. But yeah. It yesterday was pretty crazy. I had actually put days ago on Twitter, kind of like a little message, like I hope we get something A3 related, like at least a title and some concept art. And apparently, it's like I've guessed it perfectly because they gave us the title and the concept art, and not just one piece. We got like four pieces of concept art, so a lot to dive into.
We have been spoiled.
Yeah, yeah. They heard our cries for help, so James Cameron threw us a bone. But yeah, welcome everybody. Hope you guys are good. Hope you guys have seen all the news that came out yesterday. If not, then we'll kind of dive into everything here. Um, but yeah, let's see. For starters, obviously, the title. So now we can stop referring to it as just Avatar 3. And thank God we don't have to refer to it as Avatar the Seed Bearer. I'm so glad
Yeah, that
they
name has
did.
been going around for like a year or something.
Yeah. And I'm glad they didn't go with it. I know they had mentioned like some of those working titles were not going to be the ones they go with. And I'm glad that thankfully, because out of all of them, I didn't mind, pretty much all of them except that one. So, yeah, let's actually dive into what they actually showed. So, it is apparently Avatar, Fire, and Ash. So, seeing that, what were your first thoughts?
It sounds badass. Let me
Exactly.
say. It
Exactly.
it sounds like there's going to be a lot of fights, a lot of maybe even blood. It may get even like gory at some point. So it does sound like there's going to be tons more action on this one.
Yeah. That's actually the funny you say that. That's the first word that came into my head. I'm like, dude, that is badass. And honestly, I didn't even think about it before, but like like a harder edge is kind of what I've wanted. In this franchise, like, yeah, you've had like RDA stuff and military, but when it comes to Navi, like some people they're like they're not badass enough. You know what I mean? And now
Right.
I think he just solved that problem with one go, one title, and the image itself. I'm like, dude, this is pretty damn awesome.
Yes, it's amazing. It's like you said, we always see the best side of the Navi. And it's great that we get to see a Navi clan that isn't what we're used to, that Pandora isn't always as beautiful as we think it is, especially with the Navi now. So it's like everything's going to change now from now on.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, pretty much we've seen them, and I'm sure we'll dive into it more when we start breaking down like the actual art and looking at it. But when they said, initially, those statements of like you're gonna see that not all the Navi are, completely good. Uh, I don't know if they necessarily used the word evil, but I think they did. But
They
regardless,
have.
yeah,
They
right.
have used that
I
word.
was thinking, yeah. So, um, it's gonna be interesting because just like they've shown in the with the RDA, not all the RDA is bad. You have those those fellow friendlies in there, the resistance in there that is like, what, like, this is not the way we should go about things like that. It's good to
Right.
now balance that out, and now see that even in the Navi. Like, yeah, the majority are good from what we've seen, but I like that now there's going to be maybe these little sections of Pandora that have tribes that maybe aren't so good, and we'll find out why. We can speculate, but it's interesting.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how they interact with each other. You know, like the good Navi versus the evil Navi. Like how is that gonna play out? That's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, since
exactly.
since
And
it's not just now, it's not just, you know, the evil humans. Now there's going to be evil Navi too. So that's definitely a twist. Are we still here? Hello? Can you hear me? Jerry? I don't know if I can hear you. Well, if the chat can hear, Jerry was having some internet issues. It may be that that's the reason maybe he can't speak at the moment. Let's give him a few minutes and see what happens.
Sorry about that. Oh my god, this weather, guys. All right. You still there, Avatar Latino? I'm so sorry.
I'm here. Glad you're
Oh my
back.
god. I swear I feel like I'm in the eye of the storm. Guys, if I cut out it's just the freaking weather. I apologize. But yeah, let's get back to what we were talking about before, you know, my internet decides to go again because of the weather. So if it does, guys, it'll probably be a short stream, but hopefully let's let's try to stay here. Sorry about that, everybody.
Let's
But
do this.
anyways, let's do this. Let's start with the first piece of concept art out of the four, and let's start with the Wind Traders, with because honestly, like they're also equally as fascinating. We hadn't talked about them yet, but let's bring up the first one here. So this is the first one I saw, and immediately took me back to earlier this year. Even if you remember the exhibition for James Cameron's art in France, he had
Yes.
actually pointed out, and I'll bring up the art right now really quick for anybody that didn't see. He actually had pointed out that this one right here was going to have elements, and actually let's have him tell us. Let's see here.
This guy, some of these ideas will actually emerge in Avatar 3 and Avatar 4, right? So a little bit of not a spoiler, maybe a teaser, right?
All right. So elements of this will be in Avatar 3 and 4, and honestly, we can already see them. You know what I mean? At least what looks like everybody's describing the giant jellyfish creature. But what did you think first looking at this before we dive into it more and analyze? But what was your first thought?
It reminds me of a flying ship, like one of those old ships, like from Pirates of the Caribbean type of ship,
Yes,
but in the
exactly.
sky. That's exactly what it looks like. And yes, the top, it's definitely looks like a jellyfish.
Yeah. Exactly. And I didn't immediately notice that, but going to, because this is from the front view, so you can't really tell what's fully going on. But even there, if you guys look in, you can start seeing, wait, there's ropes, that are holding up what looked like sails on a ship, like you were saying. But
Yes,
then
exactly.
if you go to this art, which to be fair, I didn't see it because I just saw this middle image at first, and to me immediately I was just so excited. All I really noticed was the Navi riding the Ikran close to the foreground. I wasn't really analyzing the background, but especially seeing this, the full image. Look at that, is exactly how you described like airships. If you look at it, I started to analyze it. I was like, wait, this is insane. You have a giant stingray-like creature, and if you look, it's tethered to that ship behind it. So it's hauling this ship that itself is basically tied around and tethered to this giant jellyfish in order to stay afloat itself.
That's
That is
insane.
insane.
That's insane. They're using two different creatures to fly this
Yes,
thing. Wow. I wonder if they live
exactly.
in those ships as well. Like, are those their homes too, where they live like throughout the year? Like, I
I
wonder.
didn't even think about it like that, but you're right. What if these wind traders? I know they had shown us that concept art with them kind of having a desert biome, but I don't know if they specifically told us oh, this is the wind traders region, because you would think, do they really have a region, or maybe like you said, they kind of live in these airships and they're maybe to kind of all just migrate together. That's actually
Yeah,
very interesting.
if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're like nomads. So they go,
Yeah,
so they keep traveling constantly, and they don't have like an exact place where they stay all the time. So I believe that's why they may use those as homes, since they're constantly traveling.
that is even, I didn't even think of that one, so that is an amazing thought. And now that you said it, I honestly think that's probably what's going to happen. It just depends on like what is the size of one of those ships? You know, we
Mm.
can't really see how big it is, but I mean, you could fit at least a few homes in there.
I want to know how they get those Medusas to pull the ship. Like, is it like with a kuru, or, and I like the jellyfish on top. I thought that I was in between. Did they kill it and then use the jellyfish tissue as part of the ship, or is the jellyfish still alive and actually helping them move around? Like, I want to know all of that.
Right, I hope it's alive. I hope it's not us seeing like the carcasses of these animals just being
Yeah.
for their convenience. But no, I hope, I think they probably live in, what do they call it, like symbiotic relationship with these creatures, so they're just that important to their society. So, but about the Medusa like creature, I don't know if it's just me, but if you look at the one at the very top, I think I see like a tiny little Navi there at the top of it, towards like
Oh
closer to the
yeah,
head.
it
Unless
could
I,
be.
that could just be anything, but I was like, is one
That would
person
make
like having
sense.
to steer it or ride it? Because
Right. Yeah,
otherwise,
that
how would you control them to get to where you want to go?
exactly. That definitely makes much more sense.
Wow, like this is incredible, because honestly, like everybody's been focused, me included, like mostly like on the Ash clan, like wanting to know more about the Fire tribe and all that. But now these came out, and I'm like, these two images right here just now got me equally as fascinated. And that's just what we see right here. I'm like, what is the rest of this movie having in store for us in terms of more stuff for the
Yes.
Wind Traders, and even what are the unique things for the Ash clan? So it's just, this is already insane.
Yes. And based on the art that came out, we know a little bit more about the Ash clan than the Wind Traders, because the Wind Traders, we only see like their ships, but we haven't seen
Yeah,
them exactly.
exactly. Besides one now that we know is canon inside of Frontiers of Pandora, but they're basically just a trader, within the game, so you can't really
Right.
gather anything from that. Um, let's
And
see.
well,
So now,
it definitely looks like that's Neytiri in front, right? Do you agree?
yeah, at least in this art, it kind of looks like it, or they might have that just kind of drawn her model in there. But I'm sure most likely that's the clan that maybe they'll be aligned with. I don't really see them being aligned with the other clan. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I'd see them maybe traveling along with these ones. Um, he did
Can
state
you
in that showcase.
imagine? Uh-huh, go ahead.
Oh no, just quickly, he did state in that showcase that apparently we're going to see more of Pandora than we've ever seen, and this clearly shows how and why. So I'm excited to see how many regions we kind of get to, even if it's a quick glimpse, get to see just in the next movie.
Yeah, and we're even supposed to get a little bit of something from Frontiers of Pandora, like something in the game is
Yeah.
going to show up in the movie. So I'm excited to see what that's going to be. What, like, when I actually see it in the film, I'm going to be like, "Oh my God, that's it. That's the thing in the
Exactly.
game."
You see your King Lore Forest,
Yeah, or
the
like a creature or
plains, the
something.
creature. Yeah, exactly.
That would be awesome
So,
if we could get to see like a what's it called? Like the Taruk of Frontiers, the wind
oh, like
glider,
the storm glider.
the
Yeah.
storm glider. That would be awesome if we could see that on the film.
And people have been saying, like, if we get to the ones here for the Ash clan, people are like, oh, that this new mount that she has, because obviously that's not just a simple Ikran, that's a brand new creature. They're like, oh, it looks similar to the storm glider. I mean, yeah, you got kind of like a horn at the top, but
That's, I mean,
maybe
and maybe like the color scheme, but like the
there
face,
are,
nothing at
yeah.
all. Like that's a creepy. I mean, Pandora has a lot of creepy creatures, but that one, I think it takes number one spot.
Yeah, some people are like, "Oh, the face reminds me of like a sting bat, the
Yes.
tetraterons," and it kind of it does. It seems like it might be, sharing some genetics with some of those, but it is confirmed we've never seen this, obviously, because everybody's like, I haven't seen that, but it's a brand new creature, because even apparently the designer, or at least, partial designer of this creature itself, actually responded to me on Twitter, and this is what he said. He put, "One of my new babies had no idea they were going to show this today." So that was Zachary Berger, one of the conceptual artists working on these films. And for reference, the main creature he's responsible for designing in Avatar 2 is the Skimwing. So I'm
a
like,
true genius.
yes, I'm like, bro, your track record continues with this movie, because that looks incredible, and we need to know everything about it.
Yes. Oh my, I love how they keep coming up with different versions of, the Banshee. The first movie is the Banshee, second movie the Skimwing, and now we're getting this new creature, like, like different types of flying creatures. And you can see the similarities, but you can also definitely see how each creature belongs to the place where they are, in
Like
the
their own
films,
little
obviously.
subspecies, yeah.
Exactly.
Because I remember in the visual guide for Avatar: The Way of Water, it does state that both the Skimwing and the Ikran, they apparently have a very they have the same ancestor. It's just eventually, this ancestor over here for the Skimwing kind of went more with like towards the fish, and the Ikran one went completely different. So maybe all these creatures kind of share that similar ancestor, and when I'm like, well, one day we need to see what that ancestor truly looks like.
We need the family tree.
Yeah, the granddaddy. Um,
So I'm guessing
but
this
yeah,
creature would belong to the volcanic region of Pandora, I would assume.
yeah, and it looks that way. I mean, I like that. It's gnarly looking. Like this looks like like a badass Ikran. Like as
Yes.
badass as they already looked. Look at this mouth, this face. This is
Took
even
it to another
screaming like,
level.
yeah, like more aggressive, more everything. So,
Yeah, and that's
love it.
and it really defines everything about the Ash clan, which we will get to more on the concept art of them. But
Yeah.
yes, everything that surrounds them, everything that has come out, it's scary, it's intimidating, it looks violent.
Yeah. Oh man. And then especially in this art, because I didn't really notice at first glance, like the one behind her that people had pointed out, like, oh, he has a gun, but especially with seeing like the side panels here in the full image, pretty much all of these, her either fellow clan members or followers, they're riding around with like what I would assume to be RDA weapons or guns at least.
It does seem like it. And
So
and it
I'm
makes
like,
sense. If you get the evil Navi, it makes sense that they would be the ones to go against Awa in that sense.
exactly. That's one point I made in my video. I was like, not only do they already look the part, especially in the other piece that we'll get into, but right off the bat, right here, we have. I don't believe we've seen a Navi that's not either a recom or an avatar that has human origins. For both, pretty much wield a gun as they go into battle. I don't believe we've seen that, so this is like the first time. So you're violating one of the three laws of Awa, that you shouldn't use the metal from the earth. So they pretty much give no Fs. is pretty much what it seems
Exactly.
like.
And the question is, how did they get those firearms? Like I've always felt, and also based on previous concept art, like the one that got leaked on a video that showed Varang, the leader of the Ash clan. And on that one, it kind of looked like a Quaritch was there or a Recom was there. So I
Yeah,
feel like it could be that, Quaritch goes to them and maybe he gives them the weapons. It could be,
yeah,
and that's how they got them. Like they unite in some way. And hey, maybe it's going to be a battle, even Navi against Navi. Ash Clan versus Wind Traders, or Jake, Neytiri, all of them. It could be just an assumption.
Exactly. And right here, Charlie Wood has a good point. He's saying they did raid, and they raided the train in Way of Water, like the Metkayina, and took lots of weapons. It wasn't just Jake and his family taking them either. But I don't think we ever saw them actually use them. I think it was more them gathering, because I know Jake's been pushing for it, especially in the comics. In between the movies, he's kind of like been pushing for, we need to prepare because they're going to return, things of that sort. But I've seen them
Actually,
be
I
reluctant.
there's just one time in the second movie that I do see, on that same scene where they're stealing the guns. One of the Navi that I think he's on the dire horse, he uses a rocket launcher and he blows up the helicopter. I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
one time.
yeah.
Remember, I think that's the one time that we do
Yeah,
see them use. So I do
you guys are
think,
right.
because, like you said, in the comics, Jake is trying to convince them, but I do think that eventually he convinces at least some of them to use the guns because they have no other way to fight against the RDA.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Charlie Wood said here. Yup. Somebody in the Way of Water shot the helicopter down with the rocket launcher. You guys are right, and it kind of goes more to honestly probably prove your point that it could be that Quaritch, goes in with them and gets them to start using these weapons. And apparently, it seems a lot more of them are more willing to do it. They're just like, fine, cool, and
It
it
definitely
makes
had to be this
sense.
clan, the one that
Yeah,
would be fine with that.
yeah. Snake Guy says, I saw some people pointing out in this picture people can see Quaritch. Yeah, I believe the one they were thinking was Quaritch is the one kind of to her top left, where you can clearly see that on his left hand or his left arm he's is wielding a gun. But now that we see more of these, you can see that pretty much all of these are wielding guns. So I don't think we can really tell, since they're all like in silhouette. I'm sure he's most likely there somewhere,
Yeah, and
or at
also
least he will be.
something to be mindful of these concept arts is the faces that they use sometimes aren't the actual characters that are going to
Yeah,
be in the scene. They just put the face just to have something in there, not necessarily because the character will be there. So we got to take it with a grain of salt.
exactly. Sometimes they kind of use placeholder models from the past, just something to quickly kind of illustrate, this is what we're kind of going for, but not exactly like this is each character to a T. Besides, of course, right here in the front, like you said, the leader of the Ash Clan, Varong, and her new awesome creature.
And
Um,
her headgear, man, looks amazing.
yeah, and I'm like, I zoomed in and I can't. I'm still between. I don't know if it's a hairstyle or if it's just a headdress. So I'm still like in between. She kind of looks like that one, dinosaur from Jurassic Park that
Oh
spits
my
out
god,
that.
yes.
So I guess you're still looking vicious. So
I'm
that's
sure they got the inspiration from there. I'm sure. I mean, that they
right.
have used dinosaurs in the past, like as inspiration, especially for the sounds. So I
Oh
wouldn't be
god, the
surprised.
every time I rewatch the Thanator scene, all I hear is the freaking T-Rex, man. That's the only thing that I'm like, no, it's so clear that it just sounds like the
Yes.
T-Rex. Other than that, it's like, please, James Cameron, just go in and patch that. Um, but here Albert has a good awesome look at it. He says the title Fire and Ash, and shout out to Albert Chessa, he's a good friend, is perfect for the middle chapter of the 5-film trilogy. It's going to burn down and all that will be left will be ash. That's an awesome way to look
Wow.
at the meaning of the title, because you gotta think that at some point they can't just keep winning at the end of every movie and have like them being the one that sort of, so I would say sort of have the happy ending, because obviously 2 was not totally happy ending because we lost Netayam, so you can't really say that. But in a way, it was being for the most part victorious against Quaritch and his little sea dragon gang that he had rolling in.
So
But
what you're saying is that this one might have a sadder ending, like a bigger catastrophic ending.
I mean, maybe in a way, I kind of hope so. I kind of hope that this, as in the middle chapter somewhere, you got to have that, the stereotypical Empire Strikes Back moment where everybody says that, it's the middle part of that original Star Wars trilogy where they kind of lose at the end. They don't really win. And yet then you come back for, they came back for the third chapter, to come back and win at the end. But you got to have that struggle in the middle.
That's true. Or it's going to get repetitive.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I like
I
that
just
we
hope
are.
they don't. I just hope they don't keep killing, characters that we love. Please.
I fear it's gonna happen. I fear, like, I still remember the preview pages to the High Ground comic. You had that panel where it was the whole family flying together. Remember, on Ikrans, and the monologue was, "This is the time of great sorrow." Because it's kind of a retcon, because in the first movie he had said, obviously they didn't really know they were going to do like 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. He had said like that time in the movie was the time of great sorrow and it was over. But now the whole sequels is going to be like all this saga itself is going to be looked at as the time of great sorrow. So in that panel he says, this is a time of great sorrow, and to know what we lost, you need to know what we had. In a way, I'm probably butchering it, but you see the whole family riding
Yeah.
Ikrans together. We already see that second movie in one is already gone.
Yeah.
So how's
Oh
that
boy.
image gonna look by the end of the saga? Like, how's that family picture gonna look? So, it's gonna
A couple
not be
grandkids, maybe.
exactly.
Hoping for the best.
Oh man. All right, so let's move on to the second image. Oh, actually, before we do, going back to your point of Quaritch, James Cameron had stated that as we progress in these sequels, that he was going to go more and more native. For example, like as an example, he said, which means like he was going to adapt more and more to Pandora. So
Right.
my thinking is, unless basically you're saying, oh, as he adapts more to being, going more native to Pandora, he's going to just side with the good guys. It could be, now that we see, yeah, he could go more and more native and be more, go that route, but it doesn't mean he needs to go to the Sullys. Now we see right here he could be going with this side, like a completely, he's
Yeah.
basically the mirror image of a Jake. He's like the bad, what if Jake went bad with the bad Navi tribe instead of the good?
Exactly. Like if the Ash clan are an evil clan, then it makes sense that that's where Quaritch would go. That's where he would best like fit in. I can't imagine Quaritch with the Metkayina or the Omaticaya. Like there's no way. But definitely with the Ash clan.
Yeah. And obviously it doesn't mean that at the end of the day this clan and Quaritch himself can't have a redemption arc. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that it could be for a period of time, maybe 1 or 2 movies before they end. We can see
I
them
agree.
more on the antagonistic side, but it'll just make his journey more interesting, even if at the end he does get that redemption, because obviously you have that connection to Spider, and in a way he, Spider's the in-between relationship, the link between, Quaritch and Jake, that they now share this son in a way.
Oh
It
yes,
does it
that is a
doesn't
really
mean,
good point. Wow, I never
yeah.
thought of that. Like the connection that Jake is now gonna have with Quaritch because of his son. Damn, that's gonna be a tough conversation.
Oh, right.
But I can
uh
definitely see Quaritch on that redemption path. I can definitely see it because you can kind of feel it at the end of the second film that he's not the same. Like he's changed a bit. So it makes sense. I would be so happy if he would go towards the Navi and get turned into a Navi full on. That would be awesome.
yeah, I'd like to see him go that route. I mean, we've already seen him literally be the the poster boy for the RDA and the Sec Ops in the first movie, and then still, as the recom Quaritch. I'd like, in this third and fourth movie to see more of like, what's the full Navi version, of a Quaritch, and how dangerous can that be? So that'll be interesting.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's move on to that second image we got.
Thank you, Albert, for your comment. My pleasure.
Oh yeah, and I missed some of these with Albert. Thanks, man. Wow, let's see what some of these are saying. Elijah Branford says, I'm mostly scared for Spider's story because if the rumors are true that Varong is Spider's stepmother, that means he's gonna have issues with Quaritch and Varong. That's the first I've heard of that, but hey, if that's floated out there, I've completely missed it. And
wow.
That's another little nugget we didn't dive into. I'm like, hey, you were like, what if he kind of, gets in there with Varong? I mean, she's the female leader of this clan. He can step in and become, the co-male leader. So
like she doesn't look too motherly.
Right? Not right now. Hey, Spider will now have two mothers that hate him. So
the guy can't catch a break.
God, man. Anyways,
but that concept art right there. Oh my goodness, that is insane. Like, am I still seeing an Avatar thing? Because it feels like it's a different movie now.
If you literally remove Varong from right there, I would think these are the enemies for the next Resident Evil game or Silent Hill or something. I'm like, what are they wearing? Like, this is crazy.
Bro, can you imagine like meeting that in person? Can you imagine?
I don't want to.
And not to mention the size of it, because they're obviously huge. My God.
Yeah, you're right. They're like 9-10 feet tall. Like, this is crazy. Like, we knew, like you said, they were saying they're evil, antagonistic, but they went farther in the opposite direction, at least visually, because obviously we don't know the context, we haven't seen the movie, but visually they went further in that opposite direction than I thought they even would. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%. The complete opposite direction.
There's no way I would have thought this is what they were gonna, especially seeing these side panels now, which I hadn't on that first night. Like, it was just, that first night was crazy. You were just getting bombarded, like, oh my God, title, and I only saw like that middle image and mostly Varong and some of the other ones, but seeing all of them, even the side ones, like, look at that right. What is he wearing on the right? That huge one.
Yes.
With, like, oh my. What do you guys think in the chat? This is crazy.
It's like, and each one has a different mask, like a different, like it's not repeated. It's where to begin.
Yeah, we've kind of seen other Navi tribes, like, oh, the biggest difference for the Metkayina and the Ometikaya, some body proportions, things of that sort, but clothes wise, apart from it being, oh, they kind of make theirs from more like seaweed and things they can gather from the ocean. But generally, pretty much all the clans look the same in a way. None of them wear crazy headgear, crazy masks. Even in Frontiers of Pandora, we learned of like a clan that makes masks, like carves them out of wood. They're like wood, like really good. I think it's the third one from the Clouded Forest. But they don't wear them anymore. And so obviously, apart from that, usually all the clans sort of look the same a little bit. This is just completely different. Like you said, each one of these is unique. None of them repeat. It's awesome.
Yes. And it looks like they're doing some sort of ritual, like, or maybe like a celebration of some sort.
Yeah. Yeah. And oh, go ahead. Go ahead, because I'm sure you probably might point out what I'm about to point out. So go ahead.
I mean, like, the last thing that I want to say is Varong, because I want to say a lot about her.
Yeah.
And but I wanted to start. I don't know if everybody can see it clearly here, but her expression on this looks so scary. Like she looks like a psychopath on that. I mean, I love her. Don't get me wrong. I love her. Love every inch of it. But she looks so scary. Like her expression, even though she's not wearing a mask like the others, but just her expression is scary.
Yeah, and Drew Manning right here. It's good to see you in here, brother. He says, "I'm so stoked they out imagined me on the Ash people." That's literally what we just said. Like, I did not think they were gonna go this far the opposite direction. This is insane. This one right here, just kind of like yesterday, just blew my mind.
It couldn't have been better.
It, really, like, honestly, it's like usually a lot of fans, and and mostly in other franchises and stuff, you kind of think like, oh well, I have all the best ideas. Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Keyboard warriors. But honestly, it's like, you guys are doing a better job than I would, because
Yeah, I feel that as the movies progress, they take more risks. They do more risky stuff, more risky design. So I feel like after the second one's huge success, that the first one obviously was a huge success, but the second one, after so many years, just like solidified it and confirmed that it's still a success. So I feel like they are now able to take more risk. They're able to do more crazy stuff because people are already in love with it. Hello, Cherry. Oh, I think he might have gotten disconnected again. 1 second, chat. He'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so while Jerry gets back, let's keep talking about Varang. Okay, so I see in the chat you guys are talking about the severed cues. Yes, oh my God. I didn't notice that the first time that I saw the concept art, but when people started to talk about it, I saw that and I could not believe what I was seeing. Because it looks like they're Navi cues. Like they don't look like they're from creatures. They look like they're actual Navi cues with the braids and everything. So it makes me wonder, do they kill Navis and cut off their queues and wear them as trophies? That would be very interesting, very different from everything else we've seen on other Navi clans, because it goes so much against what they stand for with Awa. Like that is such an important thing to be able to connect to Awa, and to cut off another creature's cues would be such a big disrespect to Awa. So if they're actually doing that, I'm not sure what type of relationship they have with Awa at this point, because I don't think Awa's going to be happy with that. Let's see what else you guys are saying over here. Oh, Cheryl Lee Wood. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly. Um, introduce myself. I have an Instagram account called Avatar Latino. So my name is Rocio. So I basically cover the Avatar news for the Latino community. So if you guys want to follow me, check out the Instagram Avatar Latino, and you can stay up to date over there. So I do both English and Spanish sometimes. So if you don't speak Spanish, there's also some bit of English in there. Let's see what else. Right. So again, this clan is supposed to be an evil clan. So it would also makes sense that they would be cutting off the queues, though I never expected any clan, no matter how evil, to go that far. Like, that is just a bit too far. Let's see. And it also looks like she has, like, Varang, the leader of the clan, she has like claws. She has very long claws. So I wonder if she took those claws from a creature and she put them on, like nails or something, like fake nails, or if she actually grew out her nails and filed them that way to look that way. I also want to say that there's this creature in the back, well, this Navi with a mask in the back next to her, the one on the left. He has, like, I don't know, like a mask with eyes and everything. It doesn't look like a creature like the rest, but looks like eyes and a face. It's so scary. Oh my god. So scary. Seeing. Oh yeah, Albert Rocio. Yes, it does. It does mean dew. My name. It does mean dew. DEW. I always say it's like Mountain Dew. DEW Rocio. Yeah, that's what it means. Let's see. Oh yes, Una Chaplin is gonna be playing Varang. If no one knows, Una Chaplin is the actress that she was in Game of Thrones. I honestly haven't seen her in anything else, but she was in Game of Thrones. She played Robb Stark's wife. To be honest, I don't remember what her name was in the show, but she did play his wife, the one that got killed at the Red Wedding when she was pregnant. So she is going to be playing this character, the leader of the Ash clan. So it's going to be interesting because on Game of Thrones, she obviously played a good character, like not an evil character. She was she was kind. She was a lady, basically. So it will be interesting to see how she's going to interpret this other character. It's completely different from the one she played in Game of Thrones. So I'm very excited to see her acting this out. Oh, Talisa. Talisa was her name. Talisa. Wow. I totally forgot. I had no clue that was her name. Let's see. We are also going to be getting another actor. He was in Harry Potter. If the chat can tell me the name of the actor, I don't remember, but he was the one that played Professor Lupin in Harry Potter, the one that turned into a werewolf. But I'm not sure if he's going to be playing a Navi character or if he's going to be a human. But it will be interesting as well to see him. Oh yeah, and like Albert is saying in the chat, Una Chaplin is Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter. That's insane. That his granddaughter would be an actress today and we would get to see her. That's crazy. Let's see. David Thewlis. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but yes, that's the name of the Harry Potter actor that's going to be in this film on the third one, Fire and Ash. I wonder where Jerry is. I feel like I'm doing a monologue over here. I hope I'm not boring anybody. I'm gonna try to see where Jerry is. 1 second, chat. Thank you guys so much. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. To tell you the truth, I'm not used to doing podcasts. This is only my third one that I've ever done. So it means a lot that you're saying that. Thank you. Let's see what other comments you guys have. By the way, I can't reach Jerry. I think that she still has issues with his internet. So let's give him a few more minutes. Let's see what else I can come up with these pictures. Let's see. We still need to see Bridgehead get flooded. That's right. Bridgehead has to be destroyed soon enough. I wonder when that's going to happen, but it's definitely going to take some time because it's a huge, huge city. Actually, it may not even get destroyed. Maybe, once at the end of everything, once there's peace in Pandora, maybe it'll be a place where the humans can live. It has everything that they need to live. And it is a fact that eventually humans are going to live in Pandora. Maybe not all humanity, but some of them. So it could be that. Let's see. Let's see. If the Ash people worship a different deity, that would add more depth to the Navi and their spiritual beliefs. If Ewa is their Jesus, the Ash people's deity is Satan. Wow, that would be really interesting. From Delta Ring 54, if they had a different deity, that would be very, very interesting. And yeah, it would make sense that they would worship someone else because they're not really following Ewa's rules. First, with the kudos all over Varang, but also with them using the guns on the previous concept art where we see them riding the banshees. They're using guns, so we all know that Navis are against guns, against metal. So there is a chance, like Delta Ring 54 says, that maybe they don't worship Awa or they worship something else. Who knows? We're gonna have to wait and see. Let's see. So Albert's saying, in terms of narrative context, I believe the scene might be a pivotal moment when Varang has fully embraced almost a berserker aspect pre-battle. Might be like a two-tower situation. Yes, it does seem like they're getting very pumped for something on this scene. Like something's gonna go down after this because they look ready for something, ready for battle. Like I was saying earlier, I'm not sure if anybody can see it on the screen, but her expression on this image, on this concept art is so scary. Like she looks like she's about to kill someone. She's about to do something evil. Yeah, the Cameron has talked about the looking at the Lord of the Rings for the story structure and the Helm's Deep battle. I mean, I love that James Cameron has gotten inspired by Lord of the Rings because, I mean, those movies are so amazing. And we know that he did want to go with Weta, with the studio that does the CGI for Avatar because of Lord of the Rings. Once it came out and he saw the CGI of Gollum, the character, he was so amazed by it that that's when he decided that he wanted to work with that same company, with Weta, that they are based in New Zealand. So that's where all the CGI for Avatar is done. That's where a lot of the film is also filmed. So yeah, it's thanks to Lord of the Rings that we have such great CGI. Okay, I see Elijah Branford saying, if the Ash people do voodoo, I'm gonna be more terrified. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they do voodoo because we do see the Navi do some type of, they use herbs, they use, nature as for medicine and things like that. So yes, and in the second movie, when Kiri has her epileptic episode and Ronal goes in to cure her, we see that she's, using like type of like a shaman. I mean, they are basically shaman. So don't be surprised if on this one we see the Ash people using even more voodoo type of magic, let's say, to help them. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see bones, skulls, even, like very, very creepy and dark stuff. So we it's definitely going to be creepy. Like it looks like a horror movie just by looking at this concept art. So expect that.
I'm
Oh, Sherry, you're back.
I'm sorry, guys. It freaking storm. It cut me out again. But I'm back. I'm back. But guess what, guys? While I was apparently gone, as soon as my internet kicked back in, I saw that we got images of the the new Avatar land coming to Disneyland. So I'll try to pop those up so I can actually display them on screen and we can talk about them before apparently these storms sweep me off again. But thank you for holding down the fort, Avatar Latino. I'm so sorry that I do that to you.
No,
Uh,
no worries. We were chatting. We were chatting.
good, good. Oh man. Okay. Let me.
So do you have the images of the park?
I'm gonna hunt them down right now and see if I can just add them to the stream. So we'll finish up, with what we were already talking about. But while I try to do that on the side, that way we can dive into them. Um, uh, what were you currently on at the moment?
I was still going over that concept art and see, I spoke about the kurus, Varan's kuru, that she has all those kurus all over her. And just
Yes.
I'm really wondering, is she cutting them off of other Navis and putting them on as trophies?
I know, like, once again, it was something I didn't see at first glance. Obviously I just thought it was like she just has crazy hairdo. It's just her hair going everywhere. She has all these, different ponytails or whatever you call them. But then people are like, no, like, I think she has all these different crews and she just wears them. And now in this weird, crazy dance ritual, you can see them. That is pretty insane. And like you said, I don't know if she's, taking them off of, dead members of hers, or if she's killing people and taking them.
Yeah, because Navis don't have
Yeah.
more than one. So I don't think those are hers, unless she's doing her hair in that fashion. But I mean, again, since they're supposed to be evil, it would make sense that she's cutting them off. But it would be like so sad to see that. It would be terrible.
Yeah.
Like no,
Oh man, because
not to mention the disrespect to Awa. Like, come on.
yeah, exactly. And then that's another thing where it just seems like, in a way, spitting in the face of Awa, and like, oh, forget about your connection. You know what I mean? So maybe it is that whole theory that people had, that the reason they're like this, a lot of it has to do with they're not really that connected with Awa. They maybe
Right.
don't even. What if they don't even have a tree of souls like thing where, like other tribes, that's their main connection, their main hub? What if they're barren land, they're just ashen land, volcanic area? What if it doesn't have a connection to Awa, and that's why they're like this?
Wow. Yes, that totally makes sense. Wow. Yeah. It adds up. It adds up. Them being evil, having all those Kuru, yeah, that they have no connection with Awa. Oof.
Yeah,
Man, I'm so excited to see this. Can't wait.
it's already looking incredible, and wow. Okay, I'm gathering these images now, guys, and these are insane.
So the
This
park that
is
you're talking about, this is for California Park or where?
Yeah, this is the original Disneyland park in Anaheim, California. I'm happy because it's 6 hours away from me. All the cool stuff is always on the other side, at Walt Disney World in Florida. That's where all the,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the main awesome stuff goes. And obviously it's where Pandora, the world of Avatar, has been for years now. But now I'm getting something in my neck of the woods, and it looks incredible. Okay,
Oh
and
man.
we did see that initial one. Let me pop up the initial one that we did get while I hunt for the rest of these. But this was the first one, and I've never known your thoughts about it. Hold on, please.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
here we
yeah,
go.
yeah. Yeah,
What I loved
I
is
remember that one.
automatically you see so many elements already from the second movie. So I love that it was already going to be not completely different, but so many elements that are not in that original Pandora, the world of Avatar land, like over there in the Animal Kingdom in Florida. So I
Mm-hmm.
like that there's already going to be a distinction and a reason for those people over there to make the trip over here.
Yes, definitely. Like I've gone to the one here in Orlando because I live kind of close, and it's amazing, but it obviously doesn't have a Metkayina theme. It's all like Omaticaya rainforest. So it's awesome that California gets the Metkayina theme. What I'm wondering is, I'm looking at the concept art and I'm thinking about the scale of it. Like, how big is that gonna be? Because it looks, the arch, like the arch at the back on the right, that looks enormous. So like
Yeah.
I want to see like the actual size. How big is that gonna be? And it looks like people are on a boat. They're gonna take like a ride around it or something. It looks fun.
Yeah, the boat ride apparently is going to be, it was rumored, I don't know, by now probably the details have come out, but it was rumored to be based on a brand new Pirates of the Caribbean ride that they have in Shanghai Disneyland, where it's a mixture of practical sets, digital screens, and there's even portions of it where you kind of seem like that you go underwater. So that would really be beneficial here,
Wow.
because it would look like we can go under. We'll have portions of the ride that looks like you're underwater, and now obviously we've seen The Way of Water and we see what all that looks like. There could be some incredible moments, down there underwater as well as above. And here is a new image that they have shown of it. That looks insane.
Wow. So it is big. Now we can see more of a scale.
And I got more here that I'll be loading in. And it looks
Look
like
at the
there's
people,
still
how tiny they look.
It's like a Where's Waldo map right now. Oh my god.
Wow, that's gonna look so amazing.
All right, let's go to, this is an element they showed for the boat ride. They showed this off today.
So they're doing like a Jaws moment.
Yeah.
But
At least it's not an Akula, it's just a Tulkun, so
exactly.
you don't have to worry too much. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's the boat
Oh,
ride
man.
I was talking about. So that's part of, I guess, part of the boat
Yep.
ride is seeing the. Oh my god, I forgot the name. What's wrong with me? The whale.
The Tulkun.
The Tulkun, yes.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
It'd be kind of cool. Like, hopefully that little portion there, they actually have like an animatronic one that kind of pops out of the water. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I don't want to just see everything on screens. Like I do like it when they do the best animatronics in the business. So I do want to see like a physical, one just pop out of the water. That would be really cool.
Yeah, and the one in Orlando, the boat ride, they have an animatronic, so it would make sense that they would make one for California too.
Yeah. And that is another. Nice. Man, this is looking incredible. Let's see what else I can.
Okay. So this one is looking more like the Omaticaya forest. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Like they just were heavily inspired by just like the elements from the second movie, which is good because, like I said,
yeah,
especially people that have visited the other one for years and years. I still haven't, so that one will be fresh to me, but it'll be great for the people that even have. They'll still be motivated to come out here. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't have all of this. You know what I mean?
Right. So, now I'm gonna be obligated to go over there, like to California, of course.
Yeah, man. So that's
like a new creature in the right? I've never seen that creature. I think to the right.
To the right. Is it the ones that we met in Frontiers of Pandora? The ones that are like the deers, like the skinny deers?
It looks like it.
It looks like it, but like you're right. It might be like that. We have this that new creature that kind of looks like the face of a stingbat, and a lot of it could, once again, this can share an ancestor with the one from Frontiers. But you're right. It does look unique. What do you guys in the chat think? Like, because I've been too busy putting up the images. Let's see here. Let's see. Drew Manning, I live 35 minutes away from Disneyland. 35 minutes away? That's shorter a commute than I have to work. And haven't been there in 10 years. This would get me to go for sure. I would hope so, Drew. I would hope so, Drew
You
Manning.
have a good excuse now.
Let's see here. Oh, somebody said that it's the hexapede from Reckoning.
Oh,
That now canceled game, but it was supposed to be a canon game. So this guy could definitely
it
could be
could
spot
be.
on
Yeah, that they're
because obviously they're
reusing the
gonna
old.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Snake
it
Eyes, it
does make
looks
sense.
amazing. Yeah, let me go back to. It looks like those are the only ones they really showed. Um, let's go back to the overview shot of it. But yeah, you're right. That looks incredible.
That just blew me away.
Oh,
Especially
wow.
because of the size of it. Like it looks like it's going to be a very big part. Like the one in Orlando is big, but this one looks bigger. This one looks bigger. And the arch at the back looks very big too. Like it's all big. I'm
It,
so excited.
you're, you're like the one word you took away from this image. You're like big.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, but
Like I
that's
want to
good.
go.
Go.
Yeah, so we can get in there and forget that we're on planet Earth. Thank you.
Yes. I mean, and they always do a great job of that. Like their lands and their parks are always so immersive that they even kind of do a little trickery with the outside walls when you're in certain lands where you kind of really forget about the outside world, which is the perfect thing you want to do when you go there. It's like I don't want to worry about bills or work.
For
It's like I
real.
just want to escape to Pandora, which is why each of these movies have made over $2 billion. They're the perfect escape film, like to just leave your troubles at the door and go somewhere completely exotic, alien, and just have a great time and look at this awesome stuff. So
That's right.
man,
Like
I'm so
I know
excited.
I was one of those people that got the Avatar blues after the first movie came out. Like I was so sad that I wasn't living in Pandora. So at least we get the parks.
Yeah. Let's see here. The official statement from Disney D23 on Twitter is journey further in the world of Pandora at Disney California Adventure. This destination will draw inspiration. Wow, that rhyme. Don't hit the player, hit the game. Bars from Avatar: The Way of Water and future Avatar films. Ooh, and future Avatar films, bringing Pandora to life in a brand new way. That is incredible.
Wait. So they're gonna keep adding stuff for the other movies?
That's what they at least promised here. It says will draw inspiration from Avatar: The Way of Water and future Avatar films, bringing
Wow.
Pandora to life in a brand new way. And it's what I've said about. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Star Tours. Before they created Galaxy's Edge and gave Star Wars its own land, before they owned Star Wars, they only had one ride, and it's still there, called Star Tours. It was literally you got into this ride, this vessel, and on the screen in front of you, you kind of went to different worlds in the Star Wars, universe. So they always kept adding different planets. And on top of that, and every time you went to the ride, it could be different. So it was like a
Mm.
random mix of which few planets you would visit in your ride. So it would get people to want to keep going back to see them all.
Oh wow.
And just the fact that they could keep updating it. And I've talked in podcasts in the past where I'm like, they can easily already do that with Flight of Passage at the current
That's
one,
true.
because all you have to
Yes.
do is create a new movie, create a new one and it doesn't mean never go back to the original. Just you could always make it seasonal, like, hey, for these 2-3 months, come on
Oh
by, because
my
this
god.
time it's going to be Avatar 2 related. Like, imagine that one can easily be like, now we're flying by the Metkayina village, we're flying
Oh
around the
no.
islands.
You ruined me
So
with
it's
that. I'm gonna be thinking about that now. Oh, that sounds so awesome. Cause I mean that ride, the Flight of Passage, is so incredible. Like it's the most amazing ride I've ever taken at Disney. I'm not saying it because it's Avatar, but it really blew my mind. So if they would add more stuff to that, wow, wow, wow.
yeah. So incredible. This stuff is looking great. It looks like they also just, just 3 or 4. There's 4 concept art pieces. The other one, once again, is just a boat ride. It just shows it going under some other, logs and stuff. So basically, the highlight they were showing is this boat ride.
Can you
There might be
imagine
more
if they
details
actually do if they actually do the eclipse that they're showing in the picture? Do you think that they'll be able to do that?
You're like,
That
can
would
they
be
just
cool.
change the way our world works?
If they put like
But,
something that's blocking the sun at that angle. Something like
hey,
that.
that's not a bad. Hey, these Imagineers, as they call themselves, they really, they think out of the box. And I mean, hey, they made mountains float in the original park. People were like, can't be done.
Yes,
It can be done.
exactly.
You have
And
floating
look at it.
mountains. You have, I mean, they pretty much anything they put their mind to, they put engineering and imagination. So they're Imagineers.
They're Imagineers. Yes.
You're like, man, I like the sound of that. I want to be an Imagineer.
It sounds fun.
But anyways, right? Let me load up that last concept art. Oh, that does look kind of different. So let me load that in. But yeah, what do you guys think in the chat? And what do you think? Kind of like overall, I honestly, I would say this event was a freaking win for Avatar fans. This event was way more than we thought we were going to get.
I remember that
we're writing it off.
Yeah, exactly. Like a few weeks ago, people were speculating if there were going to be Avatar news or not, and people were like, no, I don't think so. And now it's like, wow, they really treated us. They gave us a lot for this one. And considering how far off the movie still is, we got lucky.
Definitely. And that's why I said I knew no footage was going to come, because if you saw what they did last time, it was barely in spring of the year released, and it was at CinemaCon, which happened around April or May. So that's when first footage is going to come out next year, around April or May, something like that. But I was like, a title, some concept art, something to at least, something for us to chew on. And definitely they did that both for the movie and now for this whole other land.
Yes, and I think they have to do it, considering fans have been asking for more, considering how long the movie's gonna come out in. Like, we want content, we want Avatar things while we're waiting. So at least they're giving us something to look forward to now.
Yeah, definitely. And it's almost loaded. Come on.
And while it's loading, like, I'm looking at the concept art of that not Payakan, but that Tulkun jumping, and like, I'm almost sure that they're gonna have to do an animatronic of that, because if they're showing it that way, like he's jumping next to you, it's gotta be like an animatronic.
And if you notice, yes, and it's in front of, like you said, the big, I don't even know,
the arch,
that structure right there.
That's the
arch.
Cove of the Ancestors. That's the name. Cove of the Ancestors.
All right, sorry, I forgot the Cove of the Ancestors, right in front of. You're right though. But if we look at the original concept art, it's out in the open. It's not inside of the, because I'm sure once you're probably gonna go into, like, you're gonna go under, and that's gonna be a building. The Cove of the Ancestors, and I bet you there's going to be underwater sections in there because they could use the digital screens. But out in the open, you're right, it has to be animatronic because they're showing it outside.
Yeah, so, and it's Disney. I wouldn't be surprised if they went for it.
Definitely. And this is the last one here.
Let's see.
This one's dope. All these Viper wolves. That is awesome.
Oh, there's Viper. Okay, that's in. So it's like
and it looks more gloomy.
Yeah. It's like what's it called? It's like the what's the name of the it's kind of like the where the Metkayina are, but not exactly, because the roots of the trees are there. They're like in the water, but not exactly the village per se, but definitely close. But there's viper wolves. That's interesting. That they're like mixing a lot of
That's
Metkayina
interesting.
and Omaticaya.
Exactly. And what's interesting is I hope we get to see more of, like you said, this is probably a section that they've already have fully designed, but we just didn't visit, in one movie we couldn't visit everything that they designed. We didn't really see more of the interior of the islands, where the Metkayina live, because all those are giant islands. We know from concept art in the book that there were some areas that were cut from the film that were to show you the interior of the island. So I'm wondering if this is kind of in there, in
I
just
hope
areas that we
so.
didn't see. So it'd be cool to
Yeah.
finally get to see them in some way. That's awesome.
Yes, I would definitely love to see like inside their houses, like where they keep their stuff, where they put their jewelry or like their clothing and stuff, like where they cook. I would love to see like an actual place like that in the park, like modeled
Exactly.
after where they live.
And I think in their original concept art, you kind of see what would look like the homes, but they're probably going to use them for like, maybe like some shopping and things, like some stands. Snake
Yes.
Eyes here says it looks like a bayou. Yeah, like this looks. It doesn't look as lush and pretty as the other areas. It looks more like a swamp or something. Like,
Yes.
unless it's just that the bioluminescence in the water is that bright, but it kind of looks kind of murky and stuff. So, like, it reminds me of the clouded forest in Frontiers, where it kind of just has like a weird sickly look to it and feel. So, yeah.
Yes, that's true. But I like how they're doing like a portion of the ride where it's kind of scary, it seems. So that's pretty cool.
Yes, and just changing it up, because even in that original boat ride, I mean, you got to think they did the best they could when all the material they had in that for that first Pandora: The World of Avatar was only the first movie. We didn't have other clans, other villages. Now we have that material, so it's easier. But that original boat ride, it pretty much is you're just going through. I haven't been on it before, but what I've seen, the leaked footage on YouTube, uh, you're kind of just going through the forest at night, for the most part,
Yeah.
right? Like just kind of
Mm-hmm.
traveling through the bioluminescence, and then at the end you see the shaman, which is a great animatronic. That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah. It looks so
But yeah,
real.
this is so cool that you're gonna have. It looks like out. This is definitely not gonna be outdoors. This is probably gonna be a section indoors where they call that
Right.
kind of like a dark ride, because they can really change the look of interior spaces to look like whatever they want. So this will probably be inside the Cove of the Ancestors.
You'll never forget the name now.
I will not. Every arch I see now will be the Cove of the Ancestors.
Yeah, you're right. It would be cool if we could like go inside the Cove of the Ancestors, because it would it
No,
would
you
be
gotta
like
say it like that every time.
I have
Oh,
to.
oh,
Because
that's
yeah, like it
awesome.
would be like super dark and you could see the bioluminescence, and even on and can you imagine if the viper wolves you could only see like their eyes in the dark? Would be super nice.
Yeah, and I know that in the original, like the concept art for the original ride, it kind of looked like this, like where maybe they were going to be animatronics, but a lot of them ended up being like just on digital screens. But I do hope there's a
Yes.
more of a balanced mix this time. Like, give me those digital screens, obviously, because that's how you can have the depth of field, like really seem like you're looking into like a vast, area, vast forest. But up
Yeah.
close, like I want really cool, really good animatronics. So
No,
I
for
hope
real.
they
And
balance it.
like these ones they look like they're gonna be super up close, like the one in Orlando. The creatures that you see on the screen, you can tell that they're a bit farther off, but these ones
Yeah,
look very up close, so they
yeah.
have to make it real.
we're putting demands for them right now. Like that needs to be an animatronic Tulkun. These need to be
And
animatronic
Viper
Viper Wolves. Yeah, so
Yes.
far. And show me something else, and I'm going to say that needs to be animatronic too. Just dare me. And that better be
Yes.
a big cove of
Actually,
the.
I need the whole clan animatronic. Thank you.
Oh my god. That's amazing. But yeah, let's go back to the overhead shot and wow, guys, this was a great, because I pretty much this is it. Like the theme parks, the movies, that's all the news we're gonna get. Tomorrow, James Cameron becomes a Disney legend, but obviously, he's not gonna drop more news of more Avatar news as he accepting an award. So this is pretty much the wrap for us on D23 for Avatar news for us. But for me, it's like they over delivered. That's at least my thoughts. What do you think? And people in the chat, just like let us know, what are your thoughts on the movie stuff and this new land coming to Disneyland?
I'm super happy. At least I got more than I ever expected. I wasn't even expecting anything, to tell you the truth. So it was an amazing surprise. It really pumped me up, and I want to watch the second movie again right now. Like it's just
Right.
like the fever
Right.
is so high at the moment that I need to do a marathon now.
Exactly. One of the funny little things when this image first came out, I was so happy because from the movie they cut the Pandoran otter that looked amazing. They were gonna have like Neytiri play with one, but they cut the scene, and now you see the guy right here. He's pointing right at them, a trio of Pandoran otters.
It's
chilling
almost like
right
they're telling us, fans, look, it's there.
Yeah, look, you got your damn otters. Quit complaining online. Jesus.
And also,
and yes, they're animatronic.
Oh, they gotta be. Well, at least in the park in Orlando, the creatures you see around, like in the concept art that we're seeing here, they were real, real creatures, like quote unquote real. They weren't on a screen. So if they're gonna have creatures around the park like that, they definitely,
especially outside like this. Yeah, Disney. Yeah,
exactly.
You gotta check these boxes that we got right here. Demands. These need to be animatronic. Before we go, this is the map of, supposedly this is where this new expansion is gonna go. So the purple box down at the bottom is where this new land is. Apparently people have said, like, if you look, you kind of match it up. That's the area. The red box, people said the red box looks like it's gonna have the floating mountains, because you can kind of see them. You see those connecting structures right there. They're kind of tethered together. That's how they connect.
It's not fair. You guys are getting the mountains and the Cove of the Ancestors. No.
Everybody, I just wanted to. That was all to point out that I'm getting both. No, what?
I'm gonna be sending you complaints.
No, they already heard all our animatronic. They got to fulfill those, so they don't have any room to hear anything else from you. No, apparently what people are speculating this is that we will get both the Flight of Passage, which is going to be in the red one, and outside of it you're going to see the floating mountains, and that big blue building on the left, that's going to be where the Flight of Passage takes place. And down at the bottom, instead of us getting the same boat ride that you got over there, it's going to be the boat ride that we just saw all the concept art for in that new area. So it's going to be like a mixture of both. But in a way,
so two boat rides.
No, the one boat ride and the other one's going to be Flight of Passage.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
At least,
well, it makes sense because, in Orlando, you have both as well, the boat ride and the Flight of Passage. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Except our boat ride's gonna have the elements from 2.
Shut
but
up.
hey, I'm not saying that's better. I'm just saying.
Man.
You go back to You go back to your bioluminescent forest.
You know what? It's okay. I do prefer my Omaticaya forest. I'll stay in the forest.
Here you go. You can hear the song in your head right now as you see this concept art from the original land with the floating mountain. So yeah, this was the one for the original land.
Yeah, like the original, if you look at it,
it's dope.
I mean, obviously it looks amazing, but it does not look as big as that. Like that looks like it's 10 miles long. Like in the back, you even see like a huge tree in the back. So that's why you may think like, oh, this is gonna be like huge, but no, it's not really as big as the picture make it seem. So that's why I'm thinking maybe for the California park, we see the concept art and it's big, but maybe it's not going to be as big as it looks like.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be as big. I think this is a little exaggerated for, artistic, liberties, but
exactly.
I think it'll look condensed because honestly, if you look at the original one here, it does quit bouncing around. There we go. It doesn't look huge. It kind of just, it looks big, like it has all the elements just condensed, and I think that's what it's mostly gonna look like this, where you'll get all the pieces, but they're not gonna be like so spread out that it's huge. It's just gonna be decent. It'll look decent.
Mm-hmm. No, it'll look amazing. I'm sure it's going to be great. And something else that I wanted to bring up is it was a little bit, it was bittersweet watching the D23 without Jon Landau for the first time. Like he's usually up there, with such great energy. And this time just seeing Jim up there. I mean, obviously with Zoe and Sam afterwards, but it was bittersweet and I mean, it was just sad, like really sad to be seeing that. God bless his soul.
You said, we cannot end, our coverage of D23 without bringing up the fact that one, big piece, like you said, was missing, and that's Jon Landau. I mean, you've seen him. He's always been even more than James Cameron. James Cameron has always been behind the scenes, pretty much the one that has interacted with the fans most and been the face of the franchise. Has honestly been Jon Landau. He's always been there. He always went to every event in order 100%. To promote the movie across the world. So it didn't matter.
It was like he was the biggest fan.
Yeah, exactly.
He always did the most for Avatar, and in every way, even for the video games, he was the one that was basically there more than. Jim, obviously. It's just that Jim has a lot going on. So Jon would be the face of Avatar a lot of the times.
Definitely. And I have this image I'm going to pull up of what they did at this D23. Let me pull it up here. Let me get to it before I get swept away by these storms. Let's see here. And then we go back because they actually did a little tribute. I'm sure you probably saw it, but they did have a little tribute there for Jon Landau at D23 on the show floor.
It was with a quote from the movie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely expect to see like in memory of at the end of the movie or at the beginning of the movie, the third one, that's for sure.
Definitely. I hope it's dedicated, like the third movie itself is just dedicated to Jon Landau. That would be great to see, and an emotional thing to probably witness, especially the first time that we you see that up screen after seeing them these movies that he himself works so hard on. Literally as many years as James Cameron has been working on these. He's been his producer side by side ever since, Titanic. So these guys, that partnership for years and years.
Yeah, over 30 years they've been working together. I can't imagine what Jim felt when he heard the news.
I couldn't even imagine. But yeah, this right here is the tribute that, for anybody that didn't see it, at D23, they had like this walkthrough experience for Avatar, pretty big, pretty awesome. And yeah, towards the end there, it says, the quote says, "The people say we live in Awa, and Awa lives in us. The Great Mother holds all her children in her heart." Dedicated to our producer, Jon Landau. And at first, I only saw an image of the plaque like zoomed in, but this image here made it so much better for me. That is incredible because that is my favorite shot from the movie. That's my
Oh,
personal, for me, like that, like Loak and Tulkun and them touching like that underwater, like that shot
yeah.
was my
It's so
favorite.
spiritual.
Yes, so I love that it was like, they matched it up to the perfect, they gave it the perfect display there at
That's true. And
D23.
with the water falling as well, like it's
Yeah,
raining,
my
it makes it
tears.
more sad. Yeah, man. Like if
Yeah,
Jim was the brains, Jon Landau was the backbone of the movies.
definitely, definitely. Even for the original Land, he was once again the one that was at the forefront promoting the Land. He was there, all the groundbreaking, ground opening. He was there with the kids when they first cast the kids. With that
Yes.
famous picture of them when they're like really small, that was them at Pandora, the world of Avatar, and Jon Landau was there visiting with them. So he's the one that was
Yes.
kind of taking them through it. So he won't be there for this new lands, opening, but I'm sure with every fan that goes there, he'll be there in spirit. So what a
Yes. And
great,
and
yeah,
even if he's not there, like we know how much of an influence he had on all of it. So his touch is going to be felt at the same time. If
exactly,
you know what I mean. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And I guess just the I wish he would have been able to see all five films complete. That's the biggest, like, man. I
Yeah.
wish he would have been there, but he's has seen them develop from the ground up. He's had a more privileged spot than us fans will ever have. So I'm sure, regardless, he's forever grateful, and he'll look down on them, throughout the rest of the years that it takes to complete them, and I'm sure he'll be happy. So
I'm
that's good.
sure. And
Yeah.
also not to mention, like, of course he had a big impact on the movies, but also he had a big impact on the people he worked with. Like everybody
Yeah.
always talks about what an amazing human being he was. What, even to the fans when they went, to tour on the locations of the films, like he would treat the fans so well. He would always be so
Yes.
open-hearted and just an amazing human being all over.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway, is that even though we didn't know him personally, you can kind of tell sometimes, and like you've never even heard one negative thing from anybody about him. So that was a good person, like kind of through and through. So that's
That's
that's amazing.
true. I'm gonna miss seeing those behind the scenes with him talking,
Yeah. Yeah.
giving the introductions of what we're gonna see now. Like he
Yeah.
was so good at that, at speaking and talking to people. Like he was a natural.
Exactly. Well, guys, I think this is the perfect way for us to end this stream. I appreciate everybody that's here throughout, watching us on Twitter, even though we can't see your comments. I hope in the future you join us here. And even everybody that talked with us here, thank you. There's like 340 of you at the moment in total between all platforms. Thank you so much. This was a blast. And thank you, Avatar Latino, for joining me.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. It was super, super fun, even when you weren't here.
Yeah, I swear, in the future, guys, that won't happen. I don't have a storm here like that all the time. This was insane, but I really do appreciate Avatar Latino holding down the fort, and you guys for being so understanding. And either way, at the end, we got through it, and this was an amazing stream. So thank you to everybody, and to you, Avatar Latino, and hopefully, we got to do this again sometime, because now obviously we're gonna start having much more to talk about when it comes to Avatar.
Absolutely. You can count on me. Thank you so much for having me. And thanks to the chat as well for having me and for being so supportive with your comments. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you everybody, and yeah, we'll see you all very soon. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend and enjoy everything they gave us. You know, dive into the arts. You know, right now into the details on the land, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye, everybody.
Bye.